Vice has this story. Canada is taking a step toward making universal basic income a reality. The Senate's National Finance Committee will study a bill on October 17th, or already did study it, I suppose, this is about a week ago, which would create a national framework for, but not actually implement, UBI, according to a press release from the office of Ontario Senator Kim Pate. An identical bill exists in the House of Commons and is sponsored by a member of Parliament named Leah Gazan. The bill in the Senate, which received a first and second reading in 2021 and last April, respectively, would require provincial ministers and Indigenous governing bodies across the country to convene and determine how a UBI plan could work. So they're moving closer to UBI, Universal Basic Income. They're not there yet. Here's the sponsor of the bill talking about it.
It is my privilege, honor, and responsibility to be the sponsor of Bill S-233, which we've just commenced study of in the Senate Standing Committee on Finance. The bill would introduce a framework to develop a guaranteed livable basic income. Right now is the fact that we are struggling throughout this country with homelessness, food insecurity, poverty, health, mental health issues, and this is one way that we could start to look at these issues. It's not the only way, but it's certainly a key way.
Okay, so as this works through the bureaucracy, of course, it's not just going to pass it. They have to first get together and agree to have a hearing, and then in the hearing they agree to form a proposal, and then the proposal, there's another hearing, and then it's working through the bureaucracy. I think ultimately it'll pass, and there will be a so-called universal basic income, which is just a more extensive welfare plan, and that will happen in Canada. Now, and of course, there are many people that are pushing for a similar thing in the United States, many individual states that have been looking at plans like this. And it feels inevitable in this country as well. As we know, Canada is, they're a couple of train cars ahead of us on the crazy train. We're on the same track. We're even on the same train. They're just a few train cars up, but we're all linked. And so once we see them go over the cliff, we know that we're not far behind, unfortunately. And so it's worth pointing out that universal basic income is a horrible idea. Or at least, there's a caveat there. I should qualify it. It's a horrible idea if you care about having a flourishing and healthy society. If you care about that, if that is your objective, then this would be the worst way to try to attain that objective. On the other hand, if you want society to decay and collapse under its own weight, then it's quite brilliant. I mean, it's a great way to help bring that about. And we know that the advocates of UBI, that's exactly what they want. They want the collapse and decay of society. At least the people on top who are pushing it, right? The people at the top, at the top levels, at the highest levels that are pushing it, that's what they want. Now, the advocates, just like the people in the peanut gallery who are saying, yeah, we need a universal basic income. For them, it's much simpler. They just want free money. And it's not that most of them directly, explicitly want society to fall apart, but they don't really care if it does or not. They just want the free money. The problem with this plan, the problems should be pretty obvious. And I think the biggest issue is that, of course, as it is designed, it makes it a lot easier for people to not work, and it encourages people to not work, and thus puts a greater burden on those who are willing to work while increasing the rewards for not working. So we're taking the kind of behavior that, again, if you want a thriving and successful society, the kind of behavior that you want, which is people that are work and that they're productive, and you are punishing that while you are rewarding the kind of behavior that you shouldn't want. Last month, the G20 announced a plan to impose digital currencies and digital IDs on their respective populations. Central bank digital currencies allow the government to track every purchase you make. They could even give officials the ability to prohibit you from purchasing certain items or freeze your account altogether. There's reason to be concerned about this. If you haven't yet, you need to call Birch Gold today and talk to an expert about preserving your savings in a tax-sheltered retirement account. If you have an IRA or 401k from a previous employer that's just gathering dust, you can call Birch Gold and they will help you convert it into an IRA in gold. You're not going to pay a penny out of pocket. They will simply convert that 401k into physical gold, which, unlike digital currency, can't be tampered with. Text Walsh to 98989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. If digital currency becomes a reality, you'll be glad you have something physical to fall back on. Text Walsh to 989898 and claim your free info kit on gold today. Incentivizing unproductive behavior and punishing productive behavior, which again is simply the opposite of what you would do if you actually want your society to thrive, which these people don't. Because look, what is the basic income? I mean, the number, like what is the number? I'm not sure if they've settled on an exact number in Canada, but I think I saw $17,000 being tossed around, and it's usually around that, something in that range. Most of the people that are advocating for UBI, they say 17, that 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. I've heard that number. What will it, and I mean, let's just say it ends up at, I don't know, let's say it ends up at 20,000. There's another way to earn an income of $20,000, and that is you can work. And here's the thing: you can work almost anywhere full time, and you'll make at least that much. Okay, it is very easy. So when we hear that everyone should have a basic income, everyone should be earning, every household should at least have a basic income. Every household should at least have an income of $20,000. I mean, at a minimum, at least. And I agree with that. Absolutely. That is, to call that that's below what I would even consider basic. Like you shouldn't even you certainly shouldn't settle for that. But the good news is it's very easy to attain that. Very easy. Okay, I was making around that when I was like 16 years old. And not because I was some brilliant, super competent 16-year-old. Not at all. It's just that is not a difficult income level to achieve. All you have to do is, literally just, if you're willing to work, you'll make at least that much. And when I say willing to work, like you get a job, really almost any job, you work full time, you come to work on time every time that you're on the schedule. Maybe you pick up a few extra hours here and there. You probably don't even need to do that much. You come to work, you're presentable, you have a relatively positive attitude. It's like basic, bare minimum. You do the bare minimum and you'll make that kind of income. And pretty soon you'll make more than that. It's actually because it's increasingly easy to separate yourself from the pack. As the bar for the pack gets lower and lower, the easier it is for you to get over it. So really, you have it's almost like both sides of this issue sort of agree on the basic premise that, every household should be making this basic income, 17,000, 20,000 at least. We all agree. Yeah, should, absolutely. The question is, should you attain that income by actually going out and working and contributing in some way to society? Or should you be able to sit at home? And sit at home and enlist other people against their will to work on your behalf, because that's what it would mean. And I think the answer to that question is pretty obvious. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.